All right, everybody, welcome into another Range Marketing Fireside Chat. This afternoon and this morning, I've got our Chief Technology Officer, Paul Bourque, joining us to talk about some of our new technology rollouts, most notably our new V3 platform and our new enterprise website platform for multi-location and multi-state operators in the cannabis industry. So, Paul, thanks so much for joining me and joining the podcast today. Excited to have you, man.
Yeah, excited to be here. First time doing this. So, and I'm always happy to talk about V3, how we build websites, and kind of what gives us our edge. So,
well, listen, you're the mastermind behind this, so this is a good opportunity for us to talk about and have some of our clients and potential prospects learn a little bit more about the technology that Range Marketing is constantly updating. And frankly, Paul, the demands for retail clients continue to evolve, especially in the cannabis space. As more clients and more consumers go to these websites and are interacting with these websites, what is one of the main reasons that the new platform that maybe before we even get into that, Paul, what is the new V3 platform? Because I think for folks that have seen our social media following, they know we've been posting about it. They know that we're a web development company. So what goes into, and tell us a little bit more about the V3 platform, what it means to Range Marketing, but what it means to the space at large.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I'll take a very quick step backwards to kind of what the platform is built on and why. So all of our sites are built on WordPress. WordPress is the most popular content management system out there. And there's a lot of good that comes with that and a lot of bad. And we take all of the good and use as little of the bad as possible. And so what I mean by that is, what is it good for? It's great for managing content. It's good for giving clients access to manage their content once the site goes live, so that they can always rely on our team to make updates for them. But a lot of our clients like going in, and they have marketing people that go in, update content, update specials, things like that. WordPress is a great platform for enabling clients and dispensaries and whoever to do that. It also is what our SEO technology is built on. So our SEO tech is embedded into a bunch of the WordPress functions, and it's the secret sauce. Can't really talk too much more about it, but that's the foundation for all of our websites. The bad that comes with WordPress, which is good for some people, is it's very easy to set up a website and get e-commerce and a bunch of custom functionality with having little development experience, or a development company or design company that doesn't have that much development experience. It seems good on the surface, but once you dig deep into it, a lot of the themes that are used, the plugins that are used, there's so much overhead that the performance on those sites is terrible. Security vulnerabilities with the number of plugins they use, and so WordPress does get a bad rap for having sites that just aren't really optimized. So we, like I said, start with that foundation of what is it great for, and it's great for managing the content in our SEO plugin and how that SEO is what we're all about. So we start there, and then on top of that, without using any of the bloated themes, plugins, any of that stuff, we've written our own design framework on top of WordPress, and that is what V3 is. And so we had a previous iteration, V2, and that was great for our clients and what it was, but the industry is always changing. It's always getting more competitive, and so V3 was this kind of year-long, thousands of hours of development project to be a custom software platform that enables the content and SEO and the great stuff that comes with the core of WordPress, but give the client unlimited custom design and the ability to build a website and design a website that looks like an agency spent 6 months building it, along with the performance tools that most WordPress, like I said, it's kind of a bad rap that your site's going to have a bad page speed score. It's going to because it's bloated for all those things. And so we were able to, as part of this, layer a lot of very intricate performance technology into the software so that it performs like a fully custom built from the ground up enterprise website, and has those performance benefits, which is not only great from the user standpoint of it's going to load fast, they're going to find what they need quickly. Google looks into that a lot, and it factors into SEO. So V3 is really the combination of all that, in addition to some things specific to cannabis, and in addition to it being built in a way that our team is able to use it. Everyone is trained to use it, and if you're trained to use it and know how to use it, you can get these custom websites much faster than what you would normally wait or have as a timeline for a custom agency website. So agency mocks up the design, an agency has the custom development for it. Those projects are usually 4 to 6 months starting, and we're building websites that are the same quality or better in 6 to 8 weeks. And that's because of V3 and kind of that the back-end tools for our developers and designers making the sites. So it really is this V3 is a software layer built on top of WordPress that enables these beautiful custom websites, ties into the SEO and the content stuff we're doing, and is just a great user experience and just makes the product what it is.
So when you consider, website performance to be a core metric for why a dispensary, and we can go beyond dispensaries, just for a local business and their website to rank on Google, what is the advantage of our platform over, say, another web development company that might be using WordPress? They might have some sort of, whether it's custom SEO plugin or whether it's just a standard manual plugin where you're as good as the people that are inputting the information on the front end. Outside of just what our software can do from an SEO perspective, when you combine it with the new V3 platform, talk a little bit about what is going to be the main differentiator for any other web company that also does SEO, and why is that ultimately the beneficial piece to this for these dispensaries? Because we know that with SEO, with ranking, and these hyper-competitive markets, and margins are low, you name it, all of the obstacles that a dispensary has to go through to acquire clients, create brand awareness, create return clients and regular clients. How can maybe leveraging a new platform like this, investing into a platform like this with our SEO technology, be the difference from other agencies, other SEO companies that are doing the same things, quote unquote, that they say they're doing the same things. But what really is the differentiator? Is it simply technology? Is it simply customization? What is it? Our people? Like, what is it to you that would be the biggest differentiator for a dispensary that needs this to continue scaling and growing their business?
Sure. I think the biggest differentiator is value. And kind of one of the things we talk about in one of the edges that we have at Range is that we have what we call these value machines. And in the context of V3 and websites, the value in simple terms is that we are delivering a $60K plus 6-month timeline agency website, both from design, aesthetic standpoint, and from once you launch, performance, maintenance, all that. We're able to deliver that at a quarter or less of the cost, a quarter or less of the timeline, and that's because of the way that it's structured and built. It's all built around value. So we start with the standard that these websites need to be at the top of the industry in terms of performance and technical setup. It needs to work with our SEO, which we're not here to talk about that, but is its own separate thing that is far more effective than plugins and things like that. So it's a big requirement to stand up a beautiful agency level website that has great performance, that has great SEO. It's difficult to do that to begin with. And the tech that V3 and what the entire thing is built around is making it a value machine, which to us, that means that through the efficiency and the tools that the developers use to build the websites, we're able to get that done quicker and still deliver that high dollar value website. And we're not developing the sites quickly and easily and then waiting 4 weeks and saying, all right, your site's done, it's 60 grand, this is what the going rate is for a website like this, of this quality and performance. We pass that value to the client because not only is it, that's one of the differentiators, is we're able to transfer that value that we get through the efficiency, the automation in that end of it to the client, but we get their website live faster and we get their SEO going quicker, and that is the most important thing, because the dispensaries need to be competitive. They need traffic in order to stay competitive, and that's what our SEO does. So it's really, the machine is taking the value through technology and the tools we built, and not hoarding it to ourselves to make more money, but passing it to the clients because it's in their best interest. And that's kind of our philosophy, is just do what's in the client's best interest and make them successful. And we don't need that extra money, because we know they're going to be partners for years to come, because we are the best at what we do.
So tell me a little bit about how a platform like this, and you can speak specifically to V3, you could speak specifically to any other platform, any other custom design tool that other companies might use, but interacting the interface between the website and the SEO. And I think this is where a lot of people probably get lost, is understanding how a website can be the foundation for your SEO campaign. But also your website can also make it very difficult or make it very easy for the analyst and the human on the back end of this, where it's their job to continue building content that you can get indexed and that you can get pages ranked on your website and so on and so forth. But when you're an SEO company, and I've always been really interested in the idea of someone builds a website and someone else performs the optimization on that website.
Yeah.
I find that very difficult to do. It's almost in sort of like to try to bring it into like a real world term, is it's sort of like a Volkswagen dealer trying to perform work on a Ferrari, or a Toyota dealership trying to perform work on a Volkswagen, because we know Volkswagen has very particular parts.
Yep.
And if you aren't trained in that sort of ideology or within that framework, it can be very difficult to provide a great customer service experience, because you may not understand the nooks and the crannies and the nuances that a Volkswagen has that a Toyota may not have. So when you think about, just from a 30,000 foot view, when you think about being a company that maybe just does websites, how difficult can that be for a company who performs that optimization on that website to come in and do a good job, or ultimately get your website competitive in a market where you might have 17, 20 direct competitors within a 5-mile radius in search terms that are all kind of concentrated to a core group of 10 or 15 core keywords that are performing at a higher level than all the other ones combined. So talk a little bit about how difficult it can be, and why the advantage for us is we've created this platform that is very user-friendly for an analyst perspective, and how hard it would be for someone that may not understand that language to simply walk in and help you in your website rank competitively in these really competitive metros.
Yeah, and I think there's, when it comes to other companies that build websites, there's two different sides of that. You have the sites that are easier for a different SEO company to come and optimize, because they're built on these massive bloated plugins and themes and stuff, and functions that make it a little bit easier for another company to come in and do work. But the output is that, for one, it's not going to be a custom SEO plugin. They're probably going to use Yoast or something like similar to that. But you're also going to get like that performance degradation that comes with just a site that is kind of fat and sloppy and slow. And then the other end of that spectrum is an agency builds a beautiful website, completely custom, it looks beautiful and performs well when you get out there and the users on the website. Those websites typically have custom backends and custom setups. So another company trying to come in and do what they need to do for SEO is going to it's going to be that Volkswagen mechanic trying to go into Ferrari and perform a major engine tune-up. And there's just not that it can't be done, but it's difficult, it's time consuming, it's just extra time and money for everyone, which ultimately is going to slow down the campaign and the results for the client. So our internal philosophy is kind of the same as externally with our clients. It's all part of the same team. It's all value and efficiency. And so our tools from an SEO standpoint, when it comes to the custom websites we build and the V3 framework and all that, it's all designed and built for the analyst to know what they're doing and to be very efficient at doing that, so that they can spend their time on strategy and looking forward into growing the campaign. So, like I said, it's a very, efficiency and value is the best approach if you execute properly and have a great result, which we certainly do. So we just kind of live that same mantra. And all of our analysts are trained on how to use our framework. They're not, we don't expect them to go in and develop or design a website, but they all know what they're looking at, and they've been kind of given the crash course on engine repair for this Ferrari we built. So it is something they're trained to use, but it's something that's also based around being easy to use and automate what we can and leave the rest up to the analyst, and that allows them to be efficient and, like I said, focus on strategy, the future, making sure the campaign doesn't slow down.
So efficiency, I think, is a really important word for this discussion, and this will be the kind of our last, our sort of last question on the V3 platform before we move in to our MSO and enterprise structure, which is really another exciting development and layer to this, frankly, ever-evolving technology space that we are in cannabis. But I think this is an important differentiation, Paul, because as a company, speaking of efficiency, right, we've decided that there are two true funnels, two true industries that we believe our technology works best for. And frankly, I think smart technology, smart marketing companies are choosing their industries based on their ability to deliver those results for those industries. And it's hard to be a company that can service everyone. As much as we would like to, as much as every marketing company would like to take every customer that walks through the door, it's the most important part of taking on a client is making sure you can deliver those results. Because for us, our structure of not locking clients into these long-term contracts, our performance, our efficiency has to be the main selling point. So when you consider that there are two equally different but also important and popular in terms of local service providers and connecting that on Google, but finding a local retailer through Google has never been maybe more popular than it is, and maybe not more relevant than it is in the cannabis space. Mm-hmm. So if I'm a dispensary owner and I say, Paul, what about your platform, when you specifically apply it to a cannabis dispensary or a retailer, what makes that unique to our industry? Or is this is a fancy website, and sure, you can throw a rotating pot plant or you can throw a rotating flower up on the screen, but what is unique to cannabis, and why would this help me against other competitors in this space opposed to somebody that's in the HVAC or the fencing space?
Yeah, and that is just like technology evolving every day, and it evolves based on interaction with our clients and learning more about what they want, what they need, what their customers use the website for beyond just find the dispensary in order or find the menu in order. So we are every week looking to add new modules and functions and technology specifically around cannabis, again, all built on that core framework of the SEO, the content in the V3, with that specific cannabis dispensary client in mind. So, for example, one of the something that dispensaries use their websites for, or their customers use their sites for, is finding daily deals. They need to stay competitive with deals, and they have them that they change every week, and they need to be accessible for their customers to find. So we have a module called Daily Deals, where either our team, like I said, goes in and makes the updates. The client is able to very easily, this isn't like a custom, you have to go in and change the code. It's written with this front-end structure to be able to easily change the deals. And then on the website itself, when a customer gets there, it's a section designed exactly and explicitly for dispensary daily deals. So it lists out each day of the week, the deals, links on how to get them, and that's something, like I said, that is built specifically for dispensaries and one of the things that is important to them and their customers. So there's a lot of that sprinkled into V3, into the framework what we do. So age gates, you have to have a requirement, are you 21 or older? We have a module built specifically for that. And the differentiator here is that other web companies that build dispensary websites, they have age gates too. It's not like we're doing something crazy and unique. there's a good chance they're using a plugin for it, because there's a bunch of WordPress age-gate plugins. And again, you're going to lose design customization with that. You're going to lose performance. You're going to lose security. So we built a lightweight, simple module for an age gate for our dispensaries with, on the back end, multiple options for our team to configure. You can do, are you 21 or older? Yes or no? Click it. And we can have a video background, photo background, something that's designed specifically for the website during our design mockup process. So it can look like anything that the customer or the client or dispensary wants it to look like, or have the option where if the requirement is you can't just have a button, you have to have someone enter their age. We have the form fields. Are you 21 or older? Enter your date of birth to continue. And it's nothing insane on its own, but it's just lightweight, built specifically for that function. It doesn't degrade performance at all. It looks beautiful. It's easier for customers to use. So there's a lot of that, and I won't go into every single thing, but there are lots of little modules like that that are applied only to dispensaries, because that's what dispensaries need, and allows us to provide that functionality with a design that matches the rest of the website and without any impact to performance, and which is all in support of the SEO campaign.
And I, kind of finally on this point, because I think this is an important one to maybe hammer home, is I get the sense, being in sales on that side of things, I see and I hear things that you probably don't, and vice versa. You're seeing things and trends and things that, from a technology side that I'm simply not seeing from the sales side. Well, the one thing that I do find that's pretty universal and consistent is I think website companies in this space in particular know how busy, how reliant retailers can be on their partners, right? And I think sometimes there's a sense that if you're a web company, if you become the end-all be-all, you have to make every little small tweak here and there, right? Like, you can charge the client more because there's more hours, there's more service providing on an ongoing basis that client needs, and now they're relying specifically on your web company for everything.
Yeah.
Would you say that it's safe to say that what we wanted to do is provide the option to a client to rely specifically on range, or say if you have people in-house that want to change those daily deals, that want to update content, that we're making it easy for the client to be hands-on without necessarily sacrificing the customization and the stuff in the front end that you might have to sacrifice if you're on another platform, another company, where you want to have a hands-on approach on the back end. You want to be able to change those things. We finally, from the sounds of it anyways, have found a way to sort of strike the balance between, hey, we're a web company, we can help you with those changes, or we've given you the option and the ability to go and change those things yourself without sacrificing the byproduct, which is the most important part of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that all ties into really looking out for our clients and what they need. And that's not only from the standpoint of, sure, our team's here to make changes and updates if you need, but you also have an option. We did not make this difficult to use. You have your login, you can go in and you can update your deals, you can add a new page, you can update your the hero on the website, or the picture, or the headline, or whatever you're looking to do. You can do that, or your team can do that, because a lot of dispensaries are hands-on because it's important to them, and it should be. So they want that option. But outside of that, there is the reality that not every client is going to be with us forever.
Right.
If for whatever reason something doesn't work out and they need to take the website and move it and either manage it themselves or provide it to another company, we build it the way we build it so that it isn't some absurdly painful process when they say, it's been great, but we have to make cuts to our budget and we just need to host the website ourselves. We don't want that to be an experience where we say, all right, here's your site files. They try to upload it.
Good luck.
They have to hire another company to figure out what's going on, and it becomes a huge headache for them. Like, I wouldn't want that. So it's all built with that in mind as well. That this is something that because it's so easy to use in the back end, it should be very easy for the client or a new web company to just kind of hop in and take over control of the website without a huge headache.
So that was our V3 platform. You can find us up on Instagram, over on YouTube. When we come back, we are going to dive into our new enterprise website model, which I'm really excited about. MSOs, multi-state operators, multi-location operators within one state. Finally, a solution that is coming to the cannabis space. We'll talk more about that next year on Fireside Chats by Range Marketing. Our CTO, Paul Bourque, and we are now going to go through our brand new enterprise website model, which I'm really excited about. This has sort of been the website and the model for our new platform, which is meant to incorporate and help provide a solution for multi-state operators, multi-location operators, companies and retailers with very nuanced requirements for where they are, how many markets they're in, and how to create a cohesive shopping experience for consumers, which is obviously important, but also a strategy and a platform that helps you stand out amongst your competition and frankly rank better through each individual market based on the content we're able to create, but how we index it, how we are sort of organizing that. So Paul, I wanted to start with our new, one of our newest MSO and multi-location platforms here, a new standard in the state of Michigan. And I kind of wanted to start right here on our view all page. So this is a page that one of your consumers may go to, especially on a multi-location operator in one state. They may want to browse through each of your stores. Maybe it's for what deals you have at a certain store. Maybe a certain store is closer to their final destination. So Paul, talk to me a little bit about this page. This is our view all locations page through a new standards website. So talk me through a little bit on this.
Yeah, sure. And we're kind of centered on Ann Arbor here, but when it comes to a dispensary that is an MSO that has more than 3 locations, the requirements for the website change to provide that not only ideal user experience, but the optimal SEO experience and result as well. And so we kind of, before this stuff, we still start with our core framework and SEO software, start with the V3. So you're going to get everything there in terms of design customization, performance, SEO results, all of that. But this MSO website adds another layer on top of that to give the dispensary what they need, which is honestly just more. So starting with the user experience end, when you have 10 plus locations, you need to give people an easy way to find the location closest to them. Just having a drop-down menu at the top with locations that shows 50 locations is not going to help someone find a dispensary. When you're much more centralized and have 2 or 3 locations, your customers know those locations and it's easy to find. So there is a user experience requirement for these dispensaries for people to be able to easily find those locations. And so what we have here is it's a custom map built with the Google Maps API, and it is all structured around driving users to the right location. And so we use Google as in the APIs as much as we can to provide the ideal experience. So things like knowing your location and centering in on that. So it's just automatically going to know where you are and show the closest dispensaries to you. Autofill. So when we start typing in the search bar, it's going to automatically predict and try to fill in what city or state or whatever you're looking for. Search this area. You can do a view all. You can go to full screen that we built, and just ultimately have the list of locations on the left side. And so this is it's a completely custom Google map. So it's a custom function that we built that enables us to plug in all the locations and our SEO and all that stuff into this easy user experience format. That this page alone isn't doing anything for SEO. This is for the user and that experience in finding the relevant location and pages easier. So that's what we're looking at here. And like I said, we have, because this is custom built by us, we have the ability to do whatever the client needs in terms of requirements. If they would like to have an additional filter to, some locations have pickup only, some have pickup and delivery, they need a checkbox for that. Because of how custom this is, we can add that in for them. So that's kind of the starting point. And from there, once you find your location, it's a totally different beast from our existing websites. And again, it's based on these MSOs needing more from a content perspective for SEO and just from that all aspect of it. So if you want to click into Ann Arbor, I know that's one of New Standard's popular locations. So once you actually find the location, you click onto the page, and so as you're scrolling and you're looking at this looks like a different website, and essentially it is. So each location is its own website within the parent website. So for Ann Arbor, we have the custom header, and everything is customizable. Everything is built for that location. Different locations might have different things they want to feature and showcase. So this is a totally custom homepage in itself. But not just that. Once you're on this page, the navigation at the top looks the same, but it's actually not. So this navigation, once you're on a single location, changes to that location, so that if like you go to about, the about drop down and click on About Us, so you're on, from a URL standpoint, location, Ann Arbor, About. So this is an About page that is separate from, if you're just on a new standard and go to the About page, this is different than that. All this content is centered around Ann Arbor and that location. And so again, this is like a totally different website experience from the content standpoint, and all those navigation links at the top are specific to Ann Arbor. And then at the top here, you're viewing Shop in Ann Arbor, view other locations. So that is the biggest difference, and it is, when I said monster, I wasn't exaggerating. This is a complete website from an experience, design, and content standpoint within the main website.
Right.
And you can always go back, like I said, view other locations to go back to the map. You can click on the logo, it takes you back to the new standard homepage. So it's really an ecosystem of locations, all that just have all this content, and that's really what is a huge differentiator in terms of what other companies are doing for SEO for these multi-location operators, and the success we've seen since launching it, which it's still early in the process, but has been phenomenal. So we really, I really believe we do have an edge that no one else has when it comes to these types of operations and clients, and it's something that we wanted to service for a while because we knew they existed, and part of our philosophy is we're not going to take a client when we can't do a good job for them. Right. So for a long time, we would take dispensaries with 1 to 3 locations, and if they had 10 or 15, we'd say, we can try, but honestly, we don't specialize in this. We want what's best for you.
Right.
So we saw enough of that, and we know that the industry needs it, that we built this MSO around that, and now we feel more than confident in saying, yeah, you have 30 locations, we'd love to work with you. We have a product just for that, and it's this MSO. So it's a big lift, but it all ties back to the V3, and it's all built with, it's still a big project in itself, but we make it as efficient as possible for our team to build, for our SEO strategists to write content for and manage content for, and you're just left with this beautiful, massive content website that has great results.
So tell me a little bit more too, and let's say, for instance, you're a range marketing client watching this video, right? Yeah. And you maybe fit the threshold. You've got 3 locations, but you've got this standard, well-built range marketing website. Yeah. If you are that MSO client, you are that multi-location client, are we offering easy opportunities for these clients to step up, to walk into these larger, because let's be honest, I mean, you talked a lot, Paul, about these location pages. These are essentially what we're doing is building an individual location website. It's no longer just 1, 2 pages for a unique location. We're talking about 10, 15, 30 pages. And when you have 20, 25 locations, we're talking about hundreds of pages of unique content that is specific to those locations. So tell me, like, if you are a range marketing client and you want to move into this because maybe you fit that 3, 4 location threshold, what does that process look like, and just how difficult are we talking here? Is this a full rebuild? Can we use the, maybe they really love the nuts and bolts of their site right now. Can we take what they have and expand on it with this sort of platform?
Short answer, absolutely. I would say it starts with our recommendation, because, like I said, we're not looking to make a poor recommendation to upgrade a website to an MSO and make more money. So if one of our current clients is interested and thinks that they're kind of on that threshold, which we think starts at 3+ locations, reach out to Nate or anyone on the team, and we'll have a discussion, and we'll go to our SEO team, and we'll determine, this is either a great fit, or we don't think that you're to the point based on where you're located and you're like at, say, exactly 3 locations, it might not be the best thing for you to do. We'll make the recommendation that we think is going to give you the best result. So now, yeah, you decide that the MSO is what you need, it's going to help, and it's going to give you the ability to keep scaling and growing. And a lot of these dispensaries are young, growing fast, adding locations quickly,
Right.
and just need support for a system that's going to be able to accommodate that and maintain the SEO results they're currently getting. So if you are a client and fall in that boat, there are multiple upgrade paths that are all rooted in efficiency. So it's not a massive, painful process. So I don't want to get too much into specifics. It would depend on, if you're already a V3 site, it's less work upfront because this MSO was built kind of in conjunction alongside V3. So V3 already kind of has a lot of those pieces in the back end ready. It's just they're all turned off because they're not needed or used. So it's a little bit easier of a lift. But if you had a site built with us 1-2 years ago, you don't want to go through the process of building a new website. You just like what you have, give me the MSO on top of it. We can take the MSO tech and build it on top of your existing website. Now I'd also say that, if your website is 2-3 years old, it might be a good time to upgrade, and we're not looking to upsell anything, but the V3 tech and the performance you get from it, there's a lot of good reasons to use V3 if you have an older site. Not that it's a bad site or is doing poorly by any means, but it might be a good time to revisit a redesign and upgrade and start from the ground up, which is still going to be a quick process. It's going to be we're going to get
Right.
all the efficiency we get. It's going to be fast. So there's multiple paths to upgrade for the client if we all think it's right and want to move forward.
I want to say it feels sort of like, it's not like we're claiming to have recreated the wheel here.
Sure.
I think part of what we've been very good at as a company is understanding what works in other industries, apply it to this industry, which I think from a large part, Paul, the cannabis industry feels like it's difficult. It feels like from a technology perspective, they're lagging in a lot of the things that other industries get to enjoy and get to utilize. And, I think of Pizza Hut, I think of Domino's, I think of these national chains. Mm-hmm. This is a similar type structure because when you go to, we're here in Buffalo, but you fly down to Jacksonville, Florida, you fly down to Los Angeles, and you Google search pizzeria near you, there may be tons of great local pizzerias, but know the ones that constantly pop up?
Yeah.
It's the chains. It's those large pizzeria groups, the Pizza Huts, the Domino's, that always end up dominating the Google search query. And you could say it's easy to just point out how many locations they have, Paul. But part of it is their website structure and the domain authority and the recognition that those websites get and the amount of content that's specific to those markets are. So, nobody here at Range claims that we're sort of recreating the wheel, but it feels like we are perfecting a strategy that's been done on more of a nationwide scale, and now we're bringing it to the cannabis space. And I would say that is not necessarily a concept that has been shared in other parts of the technology space in this industry.
Yeah, totally. And I think that one of the advantages we have in building this, not that it necessarily is reinventing or inventing anything, is that a lot of this was built on the foundation and experience that we have with dozens or hundreds of cannabis clients we have. So we do have the unique edge in that we've worked with cannabis dispensaries for so long, even though it's a new space and growing so fast, that we've learned so much that a lot of other companies, some might have, but many probably haven't because either they just don't have the number of campaigns running for the amount of time, or they're just starting off, or they focus on a ton of different industries and they're just, you're a dispensary, sure,
Right.
we'll build a website and optimize for this. So us being so focused into cannabis and also having all this experience, basically when you go back to grassroots and customers like that, this is a decade of experience in like a decade-old industry, essentially. So we've been in there since the beginning, and we specifically use all that data, all that experience, all that testing to come out with what we have here, which is not reinventing the wheel, but it's just framing the wheel in the way where it's going to,
Weaponize it for the industry.
Yeah.
So last thing for you, Paul, that I have, and you sort of alluded to it earlier, the early results, right? Like this is not a platform where we have 3, 4, 5 years of data and case studies. This is a new rollout, but I mean, when you consider the 2 major clients we rolled this out, obviously we showed a new standard here. Euflora is another client of ours that we rolled this out on from Colorado. Those early results, what are some of the data points suggesting to you about the early returns on this product? And frankly, can you use that data to better understand, project, and predict kind of how clients can use this to create more business in each individual market? But I think the most important question somebody would ask is, we're an established dispensary, we switch over to this platform. Is this going to help us when we add a new location to get out of the gates quicker from a SEO perspective? Do we have to wait as long as it would be for, hey, we're building a location on a normal website and it takes 6, 8, 12, 18 months sometimes to really get the yields and the SEO and those results? What has the data said to you about this platform, how it's performing, and how this thing can scale businesses?
Sure. Well, I would say it's a bit of a dangerous game when we get to
projecting
how
and predicting.
Quickly can I get
That's
results.
Right.
Because SEO, regardless of what we have here or don't, is a process that takes time. That being said, the results we have so far, like I said, are great. Taking either upgrade clients who have an existing normal website that have upgraded. In the case of a new standard, it wasn't that. We just built them a new website with this from the ground up. We're seeing similar results in both of those cases where it is almost surprisingly quick how much of a turnaround we're seeing with this. And I don't think it still is very early in the product to where, I don't want to make any definite conclusions anywhere, but I would be lying if I said that we weren't seeing great early results from it. And not just that, so it's great to see early results. It kind of validates the product and how we built it and why we built it the way we did. But in addition to that, we're also doing a lot of testing at the same time as we're seeing great results, and all the testing we're doing is not going to hurt those results in any way. We're trying to make the experience and the result better. So there's a lot of testing we're doing. We're learning things every day. We're tweaking the back end based on that. And to go back to your first question, it is going to help overall. If you're a dispensary on MSO and you launch a new location, domain authority is huge. And our regular websites drive great domain authority. These monster websites drive monster domain authority because they're so, just the tree is so branched out and so intricate, and the results are great from it. So the domain authority increases because of that. So with a better domain authority from the get-go, out of the gate, because you're already on this platform and already getting results in other locations, in theory will give you a much better start with a new location that you add, because you get that kind of root, a new standard.com authority, and then we work on building out that single location authority, but it's going to kind of get to leech off the parent that otherwise wouldn't be there if the MSO wasn't set up. So it is very exciting, and I'm just looking forward to continuing to test, build out, add features to it, and keep kind of that mantra of value and efficiency. Let's find more efficient ways of doing it, and let's pass the money onto the client. Let's pass the timeline to get more results.
So this is a new standard, our new MSO multi-location platform for cannabis dispensaries. That's our Chief Technology Officer, Paul Bourque. I'm Nate Geary, and this has been another Range Marketing Fireside Chat. We thank you for listening and paying attention and following along today. And you can check us out on our social media at Range Marketing.